is going on, guys? Welcome back to OTS News. My name is Mean Marky D. Pile driving geeks. Since 1973, the biggest mark in the IWC. Once upon a time, in a very far-off land, there was a man who covered NXT every single Wednesday when it was on the WWE Network for 1 hour. And that's when NXT was the best wrestling promotion in the entire world. Then they moved to the USA Network, and the Wednesday Night Wars began with AEW. Needless to say, everybody that did not cover NXT before somehow joined the NXT bandwagon. And these people, no matter who they are, showed you exactly how fake they really were. They were not fans of NXT before, and now all of a sudden, they were big advocates and big supporters of NXT. There was only one man who saw the decline. There was only one man who realized it was becoming more like Monday Night Raw and less like NXT. That man who once covered NXT and realized that the show just blatantly sucked is now back on Tuesday nights, and we can finally get back to being the true voice of NXT. and gentlemen, welcome back to OTS News, and what you just heard were the sweet sounds of Carl Casey. That one was called Cursed. Speaking of cursed, Karrion Kross is the new NXT Heavyweight Champion, and he is opening the show tonight, addressing everybody after defeating Finn Balor at NXT Takeover Stand and Deliver. Now, I personally don't give a shit what Karrion Kross has to say. All I want to know is how devilish Scarlett Bordeaux is looking this evening. And also tonight on NXT, Adam Cole and Kyle O'Reilly, they will not be in attendance tonight after their brutal unsanctioned match at TakeOver Stand and Deliver. Apparently Triple H has exclusive footage as to what happens next between the two former Undisputed Era members. Boy, you look at that, Bruce. Two guys who were in a brutal pay-per-view match, not on the show? I think you could learn a thing or three, you fat fucking geek. Wow. Maybe I should start watching NXT on Tuesday night if it's this logical. Also tonight, Titus has tacos al pastor. Apparently, Humberto Carrillo was so excited because he loves NXT so much that he offered to go down to the Capitol Wrestling Center and give everybody a taste of what a real Taco Tuesday tastes like. And tonight's drink special at the bar, ladies and gentlemen, is Tony's Thunder and Lightning. This one is a mixed cocktail, and believe me, folks, if you want to experience what it's like to be Juice Robinson in the after hours, then this one is for you. Ladies and gentlemen, the show is about to begin. This is the return of the NXT Post Show right here on Off the Script with your host, JD from New York.
Let's see it.
It's the return of the NXT live streams, man. NXT's back on Tuesday night, and we are live, man. NXT is back, and it's the same old, same old. Nothing new. Nothing new, nothing exciting. Everybody thinking that it's going to be different away from Wednesday nights. It's not going to be different, man. Tonight is the first night as Karrion Kross, NXT champion. Adam Cole and Kyle O'Reilly, the aftermath of their unsanctioned match at TakeOver Stand and Deliver. We're going to hear from Raquel Gonzalez, the new NXT Women's Champion. The debut of Taya Valkyrie, now known as Franky Monet. And Dexter Lumis apparently has a new girlfriend in Indy Hartwell. We're going to talk about this and everything you need to know about tonight's NXT. Finally, the NXT podcasts are back live on Tuesday night. This is Off the Script. What is going on, guys? Thank you so very much for joining me back on Tuesday nights. NXT's back on Tuesday, and this is Off the Script. April 13th, 2021. Normally, I'd be off. Normally, I'd be on my couch relaxing after what is usually a very horrendous episode of Monday Night Raw. Ready to wash my mouth out with terrible wrestling. Getting ready for Wednesday night. But the Wednesday Night War, or lack thereof, I should say, ladies and gentlemen, the Wednesday Night War is all but over. Now all the geeks in the IWC, they'll take tonight's rating tomorrow, and then they'll take AEW's rating on Thursday, and they'll compare the two. And they won't get over themselves because all they have in their pathetic lives is arguing over which company did the better rating as far as NXT and AEW are concerned. That's where it's going to end up. I don't give a shit about any of that. I didn't really care about the NXT AEW war. I just found it very funny how NXT more times than not tried to combat AEW with revitalized WCW shows and makeshift booking, illogical booking, taking booking ideas from Monday Night Raw and adopting them into NXT. Not really what I call NXT, but here we are. I'm just glad that NXT moved to Tuesday night, man. This was absolutely a necessity. As far as a fan of both shows is concerned, this should have been the direction from the beginning. NXT should have always been on Tuesday night. Soon as they got that TNT deal on Wednesday night, AEW was going to own Wednesday night. They should have moved to Tuesday, and everything would have been okay. But Vince McMahon, he's a very greedy person. We know how he operates. And they wanted to take a chunk of AEW's audience, and they wanted to kill AEW, but I don't think that's going to happen. I really don't. And thus we are now with NXT on Tuesday night. It really doesn't have much to do with AEW as it does the NBC Universal deal and their sports network folding. Now all the NHL games are going to be on Wednesday night on USA Network. So that's the reason why NXT moved to Tuesday. But as far as a fan goes, I am thrilled that I get to watch NXT dedicated when it's actually happening, and I don't have to go back on a replay. And then I get to concentrate and dedicate my time to AEW on a Wednesday and I can do what I need to do, and then there's nothing for me to do on Thursday. Absolutely nothing. So we got NXT on Tuesday, we got AEW on Wednesday, and that's it. That's it. This is the best thing for everybody. This is the best thing for AEW. This is the best thing for NXT. This is the best things for the fans, especially the fans, and there's no way around that one. It really is. Tonight's show, you know, everybody's hoping that NXT is going to go back to being the NXT of old now that they don't have AEW to worry about. NXT is not going to overnight transform back into the NXT that we loved 2 or 3 years ago. It's not going to happen. I think the days of NXT from 2 or 3 years ago is dead. Is dead. NXT has adopted the entertainment aspect just like Monday Night Raw and just like Friday Night SmackDown. There's nothing about NXT that really is special anymore. There's not. Everything about NXT is just very main rosterish. And you can get that feeling immediately when you watch. You can watch Monday Night Raw, you can watch NXT, and you really just get the same vibe from both shows. You really do. And that's not the way NXT needs to operate. And this is the main problem that I have with NXT. I've been saying it for weeks, for months. NXT lost its heart and soul. They lost their heart and soul. It doesn't matter how many people watched Takeover Stand and Deliver. It doesn't matter if it was the most watched, quote-unquote, takeover of all time. None of that stuff matters to me. It wasn't the best takeover. It wasn't the most important takeover. And quite frankly, NXT is really, by saying that, overcompensating for a lack of direction on their weekly television show. And all they want to do is make sure that you are aware, hey, we're still as popular as we always were, but in the end, we know that they're not. I don't know how many times I heard NXT Takeover Stand and Deliver was the most watched takeover of all time. It had to be about 7 or 8 times in the 2 hours. The more you say it, the more I don't believe you. And quite frankly, it's not that difficult of a feat to achieve when the first night was on the USA Network. So of course it's going to be the most watched takeover of all time if it's on the USA Network. Takeover Stand and Deliver was decent. It wasn't the greatest. Wasn't the best. Wasn't the most memorable. You worked out of the Capitol Wrestling Center. You had 150 fans in attendance. What exactly was so thrilling about Takeover Stand and Deliver? You did what everybody else does, and you piggybacked off of WrestleMania 37. I don't really grasp why they're riding that coattail into tonight's show. This show should have been WWE's wake-up call to get back on the right path to giving us the NXT that we know they can deliver. And just like Monday Night Raw and the Raw after Mania, WWE seemingly doesn't give a shit. They don't. Nothing about NXT, nothing about its performers really stands out anymore. Nothing about it. Nothing. Adam Cole, Kyle O'Reilly, they weren't on the show. Finn Balor, I know why they weren't on the show. Finn Balor wasn't on the show. You got Karrion Kross on the show. You got all your new champions crowned from TakeOver on the show. But what exactly did we do here as far as moving forward to NXT? Did you give me anything different? Did you really progress anything and get people excited about something? No, you didn't. No, you didn't. As far as I'm concerned, it was the same show that we got all these other weeks leading up to TakeOver. And nothing, just like Monday Night Raw, has changed. And nothing will change. Nothing will change. Thank you guys very much for joining me. We're going to go over what happened tonight. We had a big title change out of nowhere, which I'm not really excited about for a couple of different reasons, but I get why they did it. We'll go over what happened tonight. Karrion Kross will kick off the show tonight with Scarlett Bordeaux, and he's going to address the WWE fans about his new championship and what to expect with him as the king of NXT. Raquel Gonzalez, she will be celebrating her win over Io Shirai, and the new women's champion of NXT will let everybody know what's coming their way with her as the queen of NXT. MSK defends their newly won tag team championships against Drake Maverick and Killian Dane. And we got the debut of Franky Monet. And if you guys don't know who that is Impact's Taya Valkyrie, or what was Impact's Taya Valkyrie. She's now under the new name of Franky Monet in NXT. And I'm not really feeling the gimmick at all after the first impression. I'm really not. We're going to go over what she did, where she fit into the show, and what she said to everybody, especially Raquel Gonzalez, tonight on NXT. I also got news on Finn Balor. Everybody wants to know where Finn Balor is going. Is he staying in NXT? Is he going back to the main roster? I got news on the status of Finn Balor and where he is and what the plan is for him moving forward. So we got a big show tonight, guys. My voice is strained like Reese in the chat. He already gave a super chat tonight. Reese has been calling me Mr. No Days Off. It's been tough, man. It really has been tough. We got Raw. Tuesday last week was the only day I had off. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. I am drained. And those shows in the middle of last week, they weren't just ordinary shows. They were big shows. They weren't like regular NXT episodes. It wasn't a regular wrestling week. 2 TakeOver shows, 2 WrestleMania shows. I am all but burned out, man. I'm burnt more than Bray Wyatt was at TLC. I really am. So hopefully we can get through tonight and deliver what we usually do, and that is the very best in the IWC. Follow me on Twitter at JDfromNY206. That's Twitter and Instagram. Hit that subscribe button down below. Turn on the bell for all notifications. If you guys want to join the VIP club, make sure you guys go check out the Patreon page, patreon.com/JDfromNY206, or you guys can become a channel member, and you guys can do that with the join button down below, right underneath the video player here on YouTube. Go and hit the join button and become a part of this fine establishment and sit VIP with me in the OTS venue. Make sure you guys go check out my unbelievable Monday Night Raw review last night, where I absolutely ripped what was probably the worst Raw After Mania show I've ever seen to shreds. And I shred Charlotte Flair in half with a nice tasty rant on Charlotte Flair. She is not the opportunity. She steals opportunities. And I ranted pretty heavily on not only Charlotte, but WWE's absolutely ridiculous and illogical booking decisions on Monday night. So go check that out. It is live on the channel right now for you guys in its entirety. So if you missed that, it is live on the channel right now. And today's podcast is brought to you by my great friends over at Dr. Squatch, drsquatch.com. You guys are going to use code SCRIPT at checkout to save 20% off. Make sure you guys are using the best in Dr. Squatch, man. Soaps, shampoos, conditioners, deodorants, toothpaste, all natural ingredients. It's all organic. It's the best in men's hygiene. 20% off is a lot of money, man. I use it every single day, and I never looked back. drsquatch.com. You guys are going to use code SCRIPT at checkout for 20% off. Karrion Kross opened the show tonight, and I'm a big fan of Karrion Kross. Everything about him is just legitimate. He carries himself like a champion, and he looks the part as well, especially with Scarlett Bordeaux, his wife, standing next to him. So Kross took the microphone to open the show, and I like that they opened the show with the most important figure in the entire brand, and that is Karrion Kross. He said time always comes full circle. It was only a matter of time before he was standing in his ring with his championship that he never lost. Then he talks about Finn Balor And then he says, as for Mr. Balor, one of the greatest to ever step foot in this ring of all time. He went on to tear through Balor and really put him over as a great threat, a great athlete, a great professional wrestler. And I didn't think this came across bad at all. This was a stand-up move by Karrion Kross. Yes, he's a killer. Yes, he is a dominant human being. But when you know somebody brought you to the brink of defeat and you muscled up the way that you did and showed everybody that you're an unstoppable monster, it looks good in the end that he puts over Balor, because Balor did have a very good run as NXT champion, and it only highlights how great of a job he did with that championship and how great Balor is that Kross beat him, and now that belt belongs to Kross. Everything comes full circle, and that's exactly why he mentioned Finn Balor here. He said anything could be a driving force if one learns how to control it, and he controls everything. He said he was in command of NXT until he says so. So he is going to be champion as long as he says so. He said that no one would out-wrestle him, and he said he was starving and he's insatiable. So if you want the championship, roll the dice. In the end, everybody pays the toll. Very short, very dominating, very emotional in Karrion Kross's own way promo. Everything about this was exactly what he needed to do and say on this show. Comes out, looks dominant, comes out, looks great, comes out, sounds great. And the presence of him with Scarlett is a picture that shows you that NXT is in good hands with him at the top. He embodies what it is to be a champion, and I think he's going to be great as champion. Not many people like, Kross. I know why people don't like Kross. People find him boring. Especially from what I see online. Some people do find him boring. But I thought his match with Finn Balor was great. And it told a great story at TakeOver. So the only problem is with NXT, they don't really have anybody right now. And this seems to be a problem all up and down Monday Night Raw and SmackDown. And NXT's feeling the same way. They have dominant champions. Bobby Lashley is a dominant champion. Roman Reigns is a dominant champion. And then we got Karrion Kross as a dominant champion. They're all suffering the same thing. There's nobody on any of these brands that is legitimate enough to go face-to-face with their world champions. Kross is suffering the same fate as Bobby Lashley and Roman Reigns. Who is going to be the one to step up and look Kross face-to-face? Who's going to be legitimate enough to challenge Karrion Kross for that NXT championship? The answer is nobody. So when he says that he's going to hold the championship until he says so, that's a shoot. There's nobody left. Unless they do something by bringing a Keith Lee back. Maybe an Aleister Black comes back. I think that would be a fantastic match. I doubt we get it, but I think that could work. The only guy that has any legitimacy, I want to say Ciampa, because Ciampa is always legit. Ciampa is always going to be the type of guy to bring you to that legitimate level. But there's only one guy in my mind that could stare Kross face to face and really bring him to the brink of defeat and ultimately defeat him. And that is Walter, the NXT UK champion, Walter. I don't know what Walter wants to do. I don't know what his desires are. I don't know what his end goal is. Maybe he's content being the NXT UK champion and the NXT UK champion only. I don't know if he wants to be in the United States. I don't know if he wants to work here. I don't know if he wants to stay extended in Winter Park, Florida, in Orlando. I don't know. I don't know what he wants to do. But all I know is if Triple H and WWE throw him a couple of extra bucks and they really take care of him and really give him what he deserves because he's one of the best that they got up and down that entire company, that is a money match. That is a legitimate match. Triple H, Shawn Michaels, William Regal, Road Dogg, and everybody that is involved with management, their job is to find legitimacy for Karrion Kross. Otherwise, this reign is going to get very boring very quick. There's nobody. Walter is the only one. And even if we are teasing something like that happening, I'm taking the title off Kross and I'm putting it on Walter and I'm bringing Kross up to the main roster. Because that's the type of guy that's going to have an immediate impact on the main roster. You could legitimately put him anywhere and he's going to fit like a glove. Whether it's on Raw against McIntyre, whether it's on SmackDown against anybody. It doesn't have to be Reigns, anybody. Karrion Kross is too good for NXT. So it's going to be very interesting to see where they go with Kross. Walter is the guy. Nobody's going to convince me otherwise. And Kross, if you're going to put somebody like that in front of him, it's got to be a guy like Walter. And it has to be a legitimate threat. Right now, there's nobody on that roster outside Walter that fits that bill. MSK. MSK defended the NXT Tag Team Championships against Killian Dane and Drake Maverick. I love the MSK guys. I do. I think Wes Lee and Nash Carter are fantastic athletes. I think they embody everything that is NXT. They truly do embody everything that we all loved about the old NXT. And I mean that. The thing is, and I'm not the only one that felt this. I had people texting me about this as well. Raquel Gonzalez came out and addressed the WWE Universe. She just won the NXT Women's Championship from Io Shirai at TakeOver, right? Karrion Kross was the first thing that we saw to open this NXT episode. He just won the NXT Championship from Finn Balor. We got everybody else. Santos Escobar. He won the unification, well, not really, I guess it was a unification match. The real Cruiserweight champion. He beat Jordan Devlin in the ladder match. He cut a promo after winning the ladder match against Jordan Devlin at TakeOver. But MSK won their match against Legado del Fantasma and the Grizzled Young Veterans, but they did not get into the ring and speak before the WWE Universe. Why is that? I know who Kross is. I know who Santos Escobar is. I know what Kross and Escobar want to do moving forward with their respective championships. I know who Raquel Gonzalez is and where she came from and how hard she worked. I don't know why WWE hasn't really given us this background about MSK. Who is Nash Carter? Who is Wes Lee? Why do we need to know who they are? Or I should say, we need to know who they are. Why hasn't WWE felt the need to give us an explanation as to who they are? I don't really understand it. They seemingly just popped up, were put on TV, people fell in love with them, and they're a great tag team, but nobody knows anything else but them coming from Impact. If you know that type of roster, if you know what's going on with Impact, who are they? What is their backstory? Why are they here? We didn't get any of that. They should have been the first ones to step up with a microphone to tell us who they are. Especially now with WWE moving to Tuesday nights. Everybody knows who a Kross is. People know who Raquel Gonzalez is. People know who Santos Escobar is. But who's MSK? You did everything right with the others on a Tuesday night to get everybody affiliated with who they are, but we don't know who MSK is. What does MSK stand for? I think I know what it stands for, but I'm not really sure. Has anybody in WWE really let these kids go out there and tell us what MSK stands for and where they came from? Why they're known as MSK? What we're going to get to see from them? What they have planned for the NXT Tag Team division? Things really don't make sense when I see the lack of effort on something like this. That's just me. That's just me. Out of all the people on this show, I would have put them out there with a microphone. Tag Team Championship. This was against Drake Maverick and Killian Dane. Drake Maverick and Killian Dane beat Breezango on one of the NXT TakeOver pre-shows to win a number one contendership for the NXT Tag Team titles. Fun match, but very predictable. Nobody really looked at this and said MSK was losing the tag team championships. So Maverick was getting worked over during the match, obviously. He's going to be the one to take the heat. And these are two babyface teams. So everybody really enjoys the work that Maverick and Dane have done together. Everybody loves MSK. So he was getting worked over in the match. And Dane was eventually able to tag in. So we got a hot tag. He mowed Lee down with a crossbody on the floor. And then we go to commercial break. Maverick was still the legal man. Maverick was being beat down. And Dane made the save. MSK hit some double team moves to take down Dane. He was back in the match. Lee with a beautiful corkscrew senton for a 2 count. Dane began to fight back. He picked up Lee and pancaked him for a near fall. Maverick jumped in, tilt-a-whirl into a DDT by Maverick. Maverick and Dane then with some double team moves, looking to make a comeback. Dane powerbombed Carter, and then Dane went to powerbomb Drake Maverick on top of Carter, but Lee rushed in, pulled Carter out of the way. Maverick took the powerbomb instead, and Dane was soon dropped with a cutter. So Dane was knocked out of the ring. Maverick still managed to get a small package for a very close near fall. MSK hit their heart attack blockbuster combo on Maverick. Carter with the flip dive to the outside to take Dane out, and Lee covered Maverick for the win. MSK retains the tag team championships, as everybody should have expected. Alexander Wolf of Imperium comes out. He confronts Dane in the ring after the match. And Wolf had recently tried recruiting Dane to join Imperium. If you guys remember, Dane was in Sanity. So they have a little back and forth here. And they used to work together with Eric Young before they got brought to SmackDown and pretty much absolutely buried beyond belief. So Dane and Alexander Wolf have new life in NXT. Imperium's one of the best stables in all WWE, led by Walter. Dane is doing his thing with Maverick. Still a big guy. So they're looking to recruit Killian Dane. And the other Imperium members were there. Marcel Bartel, Fabian Eichner, and Wolf jumped Killian Dane. Wolf was used as a distraction. They beat him down, and they stood over Killian Dane. And that's the way the segment ended after this tag team match. I don't know where they're going with this. It looks like we may be getting Dane and Maverick versus Imperium, with Imperium maybe getting some wins to get back into title contention. They may be the team next in line for MSK, which I have no problem with. I think that would be a fantastic match. But do they recruit Killian Dane? I think this team of Dane and Maverick does have an incredibly short shelf life. I don't think this is what Killian Dane needs to do. You add somebody like Dane, you put him in Imperium. That's going to make that group a little bit more powerful. Drake Maverick, I mean, he can only go so far with Drake Maverick. How long before Killian Dane, storyline-wise, how long before Killian Dane really kind of wakes up and says, why am I doing 98% of the work, saving you time and time and time again, and you give me nothing in return? I'm a loser because I'm standing next to you. So if he joins Imperium, it may be the best career decision he's made in WWE. So we'll see what happens. It's either one or the other, nowhere in between. But it looks like Imperium is getting back into shape and probably going to thrust themselves into the tag team title picture sooner rather than later. Robert Stone, somebody I really don't care to see on NXT TV because the last time I saw him, he was in a feud with Rhea Ripley puking at ringside. Very Monday Night Raw-ish is Robert Stone. He'd fit like a fucking glove on Monday Night Raw. He was backstage with Aaliyah when Mercedes Martinez confronted both of them. She wanted to know where her money was. So Martinez grabbed Aaliyah by the throat and she began choking Aaliyah. And Stone tried to explain himself. Stone was going on and on and on and on about the money and where it is, and he's going to give it to her. Excuse after excuse after excuse. Out comes Jessie Kamea, who is affiliated with Robert Stone and Aaliyah in the Robert Stone brand. And she stepped up to Mercedes Martinez, and this pretty much set up a match between the two later on tonight. And Jessie Kamea was just a little bit taller than Mercedes Martinez. So that was a nice visual there. But Mercedes Martinez is up and coming in NXT. If you guys remember, she was actually a part of the Retribution stable. She opted to not go along with it. And I do not blame her at all. She's back in NXT doing her thing. And she will probably be set up as the first opponent for Raquel Gonzalez. And if that is the case, that is the perfect first match for Raquel Gonzalez. Roderick Strong. Something's going on with Roderick Strong. They showed him arriving in the building with his wife, Marina Shafir, who we have not seen on NXT TV in a very long time. So the fact that she was there must mean something is important going on with Roderick Strong. We had exclusive footage of the TakeOver unsanctioned match between Adam Cole and Kyle O'Reilly. So we've seen the highlights of the match. WWE always does a fantastic job with these video packages. And then they showed the exclusive footage after the highlights of the match. And they both were leaving the building in an ambulance. So they both got gurneyed into an ambulance. They both were driven to the medical facility. And just the way this was shot, you knew it was going to be storyline related. You seen the referee throw up the X sign, which I did not see at TakeOver. It was shown in this exclusive footage. I don't know if that was legit. I don't know if Adam Cole really got hurt in the match. I'm assuming he's banged up, but I'm not really sure the extent of his injuries. It could have been for show. But they both got carted off on gurneys and loaded into the ambulance. Roderick Strong, though, walked out on his own. Adam Cole was laying in the ring after the match was over. So Cole was stretchered out of the ring into an ambulance. Same with O'Reilly. And they were rushed to the hospital. Their ambulance arrived at the ER at the same time. So both ambulances arrived at the ER at the same time. And they were wheeled in side by side into the hospital. Cole was cutting a promo on O'Reilly, telling O'Reilly that this is far from over, that he's going to kill him, all while still being strapped to the gurney as they were rolling them both into the medical facility. And that was it. That was their exclusive footage. So, for everybody that was wondering about Adam Cole, which it really upsets me that people legitimately came to me and were upset about Adam Cole not being demoted to the main roster. Like, people were legitimately upset that we didn't get an NXT call-up on Monday Night Raw. Oh my, Adam Cole. Oh my God, he didn't make a debut. Raw sucked because there was no call-ups. Io Shirai didn't make her Monday Night Raw debut. First of all, we still have Friday with SmackDown. I doubt anything's going to happen there. Nothing happened on Raw. I doubt anything's going to happen on Friday. But it really irks the shit out of me that you guys are so thick-headed. Why do you want Adam Cole on the main roster? I don't know why you would want him to suffer like that. Do you want him sitting in catering? Do you want him not on TV like Keith Lee? Do you want him to make a debut with this level of excitement only to be disappointed 2 weeks later when WWE jobs him out to The Miz? Do you want him like Aleister Black? Because his fiancée works in AEW. God forbid they tweet back and forth something on social media. They'll probably take it out on Adam Cole, sit him with Aleister Black in the fucking broom closet, and he'll never be seen again. That's what you want. I don't know why so many people want Adam Cole demoted on the main roster. Same thing with Io Shirai. Why do you want Io Shirai on the main roster? Io and Adam are both special in NXT. Io and Adam on the main roster will be like everybody else. They can't even book Asuka correctly. You want Io Shirai on the main roster. They buried Kairi Sane, but you want Io on the main roster. Why? So that they can feed her to Charlotte Flair? Because that's exactly what's going to happen. Has Asuka ever beaten Charlotte Flair? What makes you think Io Shirai is going to beat Charlotte Flair? You guys have to stop. Have I not taught you anything? NXT doesn't succeed on the main roster unless you are somebody like a Karrion Kross. Seriously. Nobody from this current group of NXT talent is going to make it on the main roster. WWE doesn't give a fuck. Vince and Bruce don't give a fuck about professional wrestling. This is why I laugh when all this hype around Sari is coming to NXT. Who cares? The Warrior of the Sun. Who gives a shit? Nobody is going to care. You're bringing her in with all this hype and level of excitement. All the geeks on social media are going to be jumping for joy over Sari coming to the main roster, or coming to NXT rather, coming to the States. What do you think her level of ceiling is in WWE? She doesn't exceed past NXT. And if she does, where do you think she's going to go? She ain't going anywhere as long as Vince McMahon is still alive and breathing. She ain't going anywhere as long as Bruce Pritchard's got red in his face. Just another Joshi that nobody gives a shit about on NXT television with her ceiling already capped on night one. And if you don't like that, if you don't like the truth, if you don't like what I'm telling you, I don't give a shit. You all know that I'm right, and you just are afraid of somebody speaking to you the truth of the situation. So stop with the main roster call-ups. Nobody wants to see it. I think everybody after Keith Lee has this bad taste in your mouth. Leave it that way. It's not going to change. Mercedes Martinez. Jessie Kamea. This was a 3-minute match. Nothing really happened here. Jessie Kamea is getting better and better, but she's really got no personality. She's got no charisma. I don't know anything about her. She's just there with the Robert Stone brand because Robert Stone is somewhat established. And so is Aaliyah. So I'm guessing they're going to be bringing her along. She needs something that's going to make her stand out. Aaliyah does a very good job at standing out. She's got an identity. Jessie Kamea doesn't have an identity yet, so I don't really know who she is or what she is. But she's not bad in the ring. Mercedes Martinez, this is a badass motherfucker. Mercedes Martinez, really. Can't wait to see what she does, man. I was a big fan of Mercedes Martinez, even dating back to the Mae Young Classic when we seen her in the Mae Young Classic back-to-back years. So I can't wait to see what she does. So Kamea was getting the better of Martinez for a little bit. Martinez soon cut her off with a running knee strike. Martinez then executed a modified air raid crash, and she covered Kamea for the 1-2-3. Martinez, after the match, assaulted Robert Stone, who tried to run away through the timekeeper's area, and she threw him up against the barricade and the plexiglass around ringside, and she bullied him for the money that he did actually have in his suit jacket. She took the money. He ran away with Aaliyah. She went over to Vic Joseph and Wade Barrett, and she looked right at Vic Joseph, and she started screaming at Vic Joseph as if he's going to do anything about it, about her challenging Raquel Gonzalez for the NXT Women's Championship, and she is next, and that's pretty much it. The challenge is set. She wants Raquel Gonzalez, and she wants the NXT Women's Championship. Good. Good. That is a first opponent that I like for Raquel Gonzalez. I think that's going to be very interesting. Mackenzie Mitchell. She was interviewing The Way. Johnny Gargano, Candice LeRae, Austin Theory, and Indie Wrestling. They have an 8-person mixed tag team match later. Candice said that they would take care of business. Indy Hartwell said she wanted to end up in the ring with Dexter Lumis so she could take care of her business. Wink, wink. Johnny Gargano said The Way was the most dominant 4-person intergender faction in NXT history. They all walked off, but Austin Theory walked the wrong way. So he looks to be a little Austin Theory. Don't know what's going on with him, but Johnny Gargano's fucking awesome at what he does. Isaiah Swerve Scott. This is another guy that I think has major potential in NXT. He was interviewed and he spoke to everybody in this promo from what looked to be a music studio. He was behind the engineer's desk. He said he had a star-making performance at TakeOver, but he wasn't done with Leon Ruff. He said after their next meeting, he was done. Once again, Swerve was very good here, and I like that they're giving him identity. I like that they're giving him this persona. I like that they gave him the background and the environment to mesh with where they're going as far as direction for his character. I like this. He carries himself well. He's great in the fucking ring. Don't know what his ceiling is after NXT. I think he's pretty much maxed out at NXT. I don't see him going anywhere on the main roster. I just don't. This is another reason why people don't really care about NXT, because everybody that you end up caring about, they end up off of television, never to be seen again. Or they end up on television, and they are a shell of their former selves. But I love what they're doing with Swerve. He is much greater than the Cruiserweight Championship. He is much bigger than what he was doing with Santos Escobar. He's a great heel, and I think he's got major star potential. So we'll see what happens. Legado del Fantasma came out. They were with Santos Escobar, and he cut a promo in the middle of the ring. I'm looking at you boys in MSK. Where are you? Where are you? Everybody that won their matches, everybody that won their championship matches at TakeOver cut a promo. Where was MSK to tell the WWE Universe about who they are? Santos Escobar was the next up. He said a year ago, the Cruiserweight Championship was a symbol of a forgotten division. He said he saved the division, and now he's the undisputed Cruiserweight Champion. El Champion, just like his father was, and just like his son will be. He said, luchadors always fight, so this, tonight, is an open challenge. Kushida's music played, and that is what we got as far as the Cruiserweight Championship match tonight in this open challenge. I mentioned this on the TakeOver podcast, on the TakeOver live stream during the first match on night 2. It was Jordan Devlin and Santos Escobar for the Cruiserweight Championship. I gave my opinion on where I would go with the Cruiserweight Championship and what they should do with that specific title. I think Santos Escobar is fucking awesome. Carries himself well. He looks great. He's a great wrestler. He falls in line with everybody else. What happened to Angel Garza? What happened to Andrade Cien Almas? Where are they? Andrade was buried so much that he asked for his release. Luckily, he got it. But where's Angel Garza? How many people called Angel Garza the second coming of Eddie Guerrero? Where is he? He's stuck in catering. There was a report 2 weeks ago before WrestleMania at WWE. Andrade mentioned this on Lucha Libre's podcast after he was let go from WWE. WWE had Angel Garza cut his hair to get ready for a new push on Monday night, and that was never something that Garza ended up getting. They didn't give him his push. So if I'm supposed to be excited about Santos Escobar, I'm always going to have in the back of my mind, well, Andrade is heralded as one of the greatest wrestlers in the world. If he can't succeed on the main roster, what do you think is going to happen to Santos Escobar? But the thing is, Andrade couldn't speak English. Santos Escobar can speak great English, carry himself well. He's got a natural charisma. He's got a character. He's got direction. But some of those things don't really matter to Bruce Pritchard and Vince McMahon. All they look at is the color of your skin and how tall you are. They don't care. Oh, this guy's got this that we like, but he's not really what we're looking for. Then what the fuck are you looking for? I look at Santos Escobar and then I look at what this guy could be, and then I think that's not going to work because Bruce Pritchard and Vince McMahon hate professional wrestling. They're not here to build professional wrestling. So it's either he stays in NXT for the rest of his career or he leaves and goes somewhere else. And that somewhere else doesn't include Monday night or Friday night. Now, I mentioned this on Thursday's podcast when I did night 2 of NXT TakeOver. The Cruiserweight Championship should be a title that is not only on NXT, but it should be something that is shared between all three brands. We should get something on Raw. We should get something on SmackDown. It should be something that is shared. I could see Ricochet. I could see Dominic Mysterio, Rey Mysterio, Buddy Murphy, Angel Garza, guys like that, Humberto Carrillo, the Lucha House Party. I could see guys like that. I could even see Finn Balor. Challenging for the Cruiserweight Championship. That is the type of guy that you need to start throwing at Santos Escobar or whoever the Cruiserweight Champion is. Not just guys on 205 Live, August Gray, or whoever the fuck they got over there. People that I'm sure I don't know of. Does anybody watch 205 Live? Probably not. And if you do, is there anybody that is at the level of a Santos Escobar? No. I don't need to watch to tell you the answer to that question. No. So why do we have that show? Santos Escobar is way too good to be stuck on 205 Live or doing something with the Cruiserweights. And if he's going to be champion, he needs that type of performer. One of the guys I mentioned was Kushida. Everybody was upset that Kushida lost to Pete Dunne. I get it. You want Kushida to start winning matches. You feel like WWE's not getting a return on their investment with Kushida. I get it. But he's not beating Pete Dunne. Why would you think he's beating Pete Dunne? Kushida deserves some wins, yes. But Kushida is absolutely the type of guy that Santos Escobar should be in a ring with for the Cruiserweight Championship. We got it tonight. And lo and behold, what I talked about on Thursday last week happened, and we got Kushida winning the Cruiserweight Championship. Did I like the outcome? No, I did not. Did I like the match? I thought the match was the best thing all night. But do I like the outcome? No, I don't. First of all, let me get this out of the way. Kushida needs to go back to the jeans. Whatever the fuck they had him wearing tonight, get rid of it. He looked like a jobber. He looked like a grade A jobber in that ring attire. Get him out of that. Put him back in the jeans. Appearance makes a huge difference to a professional wrestler, okay? Number 2, JD, I thought you wanted Kushida and Santos Escobar to wrestle for the Cruiserweight Championship, so why don't you like the outcome? You want to know why I don't like the outcome? Because Kushida deserves better. Kushida won the championship in an unadvertised match that came about literally right before this night started, or this segment, rather, started. What do you think that does for Kushida? Just let's throw him out there and give him the Cruiserweight Championship. No build, no story. Just throw him out there. Boom, boom, boom. After what Santos Escobar did at TakeOver to win the championship, you're going to throw him back on Tuesday night to lose the championship in a match that has virtually zero buildup. Don't you think Kushida deserves better? Now, on the bright side of things, Santos Escobar seems to be moving on to bigger and better things. What that is, I don't know. I'm going to assume he's not being brought to the main roster. But what I am going to say is that I think Santos Escobar is going to be the guy that now moves up the NXT ranks and challenges for a North American championship. I could see Johnny Gargano dropping that championship to a Bronson Reed. I could see a Johnny Gargano dropping that championship to a Dexter Lumis. I could see either one of those baby faces being challenged by Santos Escobar. Somebody doesn't stay on 205 Live and as Cruiserweight champion for the duration of their career. It is a great foundation for them to get started. But when you are as talented as Santos Escobar, the sky is your limit. I just hope that the right people know what the fuck they're doing with him. And if history is any cheat sheet for us to look at, Andrade and Angel Garza were the last two casualties as of early this year. We haven't seen either of them. If you think this guy survives the grasp of Bruce Pritchard and Vince McMahon, you may be as dumb as I think you are. Hopefully, I am wrong. Hopefully, I am wrong. This was a great match. Absolutely fantastic match. This was actually better, in my honest opinion, than the Pete Dunne match that Kushida had at TakeOver. So, early on here, Escobar was working over Kushida. He smashed Kushida into the ring steps. Very nasty spot. Very nasty spot. Escobar applied a lion tamer on top of the steps. Kushida was screaming out in agony. Escobar continued to work over Kushida, including a super Frankensteiner off the top rope. Kushida cut off Escobar with a reverse atomic drop, and Kushida started a comeback as he fired up on Escobar. Kushida went for the armbar. Escobar escaped, and then Escobar was tripped up on the turnbuckles. Hammerlock suplex by Kushida, and another hammerlock suplex with the bridge, which looked nasty. Absolutely nasty. It looked like Santos Escobar was out cold with the hammerlock DDT. Escobar then got his foot on the rope. He didn't even kick out of the cover. He just put his foot on the rope to break the pin. Escobar fought back. He was dropped by Kushida. They both doubled down, and it led to a slugfest. So they traded strikes and kicks. Kushida was going for a handspring back elbow, but Escobar caught him in a backstabber off the ropes. So we're coming down to the final seconds of this match. They were rolling up each other towards 2 counts with pinfall after pinfall after pinfall, and Kushida cradled Escobar, and he got the 1, 2, 3, and he's the new Cruiserweight champion. Excellent, excellent match. And after the match was over, Kushida was shown in the trainer's room with his newly won championship. We had William Regal come over and shake Kushida's hand, saying that it was long overdue, and out comes Jordan Devlin. He's like, listen, it doesn't take a lot of skill to climb a ladder and pull a belt off the top of the rung at TakeOver. That's not what I really call professional wrestling. But all I'm here to tell you is that you got that championship, and I'm here for a little bit now because of travel restrictions, so I'm going to be keeping an eye on you. And then Kushida was like, anytime, anywhere. So that could be a very interesting match as well. The health of the Cruiserweight Championship is there. It's just what WWE wants to do with it. So we'll see what happens. Devlin versus Escobar was a good match. Santos Escobar, I don't know where he goes from here. Hopefully it's bigger and better things. He's way too talented not to really be utilizing at a more higher level. And Devlin versus Kushida could be a great fucking match. And they got something that the Devlin and Escobar match didn't have. Kushida is way over as a babyface. So that will put Devlin right back into that dastardly prick heel role that he plays very well. So at least they got the babyface and heel dynamic to play off of for the Cruiserweight Championship. So I'm very excited to see where they go from here. Cruiserweight Championship should be more than what it is on NXT. I keep saying it. I doubt it really happens. I'm just fantasy booking for you guys, but that is exactly what I do with the Cruiserweight title. Tommaso Ciampa. He sits with Mr. Timothy Thatcher, and apparently they are still a tag team. They talked from the backstage, dim lighting, sitting in their chairs. Ciampa talked about being tested in new and different ways. Thatcher said there was a new NXT tag team champion and a new NXT champion. Which path do they choose? Ciampa said, MSK, we're coming for you. So look at that. Tommaso Ciampa and Timothy Thatcher, who are two absolute badasses and are going to ground and pound the shit out of you against MSK. Could be a very interesting dynamic. And Tommaso Ciampa operating with Timothy Thatcher at this level with his tag team partner? I don't know, man. I wasn't really big on them in the Dusty Classic, but we'll see what happens. It's not really addressing the issues in NXT as far as tag team wrestling goes. You got some pretty damn good tag teams there. You do. You don't got enough of them. If Ciampa and Thatcher are going to be used as NXT focuses on building their tag team division, I'm fine with it. I don't want this to be a permanent thing. Ciampa needs to be solo. Thatcher, I don't really care for. He's not my cup of tea. But Ciampa, he needs to be solo. WWE's main focus should be their tag team division. If they put enough energy into the tag team division like they did the women's division, imagine the type of tag team division we would get. I hope this is a temporary thing until WWE figures out what they need to do. Dakota Kai stood in the ring and she introduced your new NXT Women's Champion, Raquel Gonzalez. Gonzalez took the microphone. She said 1.5 years ago, NXT went live, and she wasn't supposed to make her big debut, and she wasn't ready. And she made sure that it didn't happen again. And 1.5 years later, she stands here as your NXT Women's Champion. She said the one person who recognized her dedication was Dakota Kai. So Dakota Kai was there, and Dakota Kai came off as more of a cheerleader and a sidekick here than anything. And Dakota Kai can certainly, stand on her own. I think she deserves a nice little break for herself as well. She's battled some devastating injuries, and she's been really shorthanded in NXT. She's been given the carrot, given that carrot that's dangling, and they always pull it back from Dakota Kai. I don't know why. Another very good professional wrestler. So I would like to see her not so much a sidekick moving forward. It's great to be friends. It's great to be supportive, but you also got to go on and do your own thing. And if you're NXT, why would you not want to utilize somebody as good as Dakota Kai? So she said the one person who recognized her was Dakota Kai. Kai was cheering her on. Kai said for 14 months they dominated. Gonzalez said Io Shirai was a great champion, but the Raquel Gonzalez era has officially begun. The lights went out, and Franky Monet, the former Taya Valkyrie of Impact Wrestling, was holding her dog, and she came down to the ring very gingerly. She didn't want to pull another Mandy Rose here at the Capitol Wrestling Center. She had a microphone. She got in the ring. She congratulated Raquel Gonzalez and introduced herself as Franky Monet. So I'm going to be very blunt with you guys right off the bat. I know a name is very important. I know it's not the end of the world with a name like Franky Monet. But a first impression to me is everything. And I'm not liking the name. And I'm not liking the tone. And I'm not liking the character direction. I'm sure the name will grow on me. We said the same thing about everybody that we didn't really get as far as the name. The name is going to be fine. It's the gimmick that I don't think I'm going to enjoy. I understand why they can't use Taya Valkyrie. I understand that they can't. They want to trademark their own shit. But not really feeling it at this moment. So she said the best division on the planet has gotten shinier, bougier, and a whole lot better. She said now that Raquel is on top of her division, she'll see a whole lot of her in the coming weeks. Her division. She hasn't even had a fucking match yet, and she's calling it her division. Not so much there, Miss Monet. So Raquel said she was lucky she was in a good mood, because next time she's going to take that poodle that you're holding, and I'm going to shove him so far up your ass. Monet said that she'd see her every single Tuesday. So all of a sudden, Rhea Ripley's music played, and the new Raw Women's Champion walked out to the ring, and I'm like, oh my God. Please tell me they're not going to use Rhea Ripley in this to challenge Raquel Gonzalez now that they're both champions. I didn't know what was going on here. So Ripley got into the ring, and she met with Gonzalez face to face, and they bumped belts. They hugged, they embraced, and they celebrated together. Then Bianca Belair's music hits. She comes down the aisle. She's got the SmackDown Women's Championship. She's twirling around, swinging her hair around. She gets into the ring, and they're all standing there. SmackDown, NXT, and Raw Women's Champions. And in the background, you see a picture from their very early stages of NXT, all standing together. This was a very good moment. Triple H was brilliant for putting this together. And it was very sentimental because of where they all came from and how hard they worked to get to WrestleMania. If you're Ripley and Bianca Belair, now Gonzalez is on her way to following in the footsteps. This is a great glimpse into the future of what we're going to see with Raquel Gonzalez, while also celebrating how hard one works to get to that level and what NXT really is about. NXT's building about the future. It's about building the future. And this was a perfect picture, a perfect example of that. Now, I wish NXT was the blueprint for creating new stars. I really do. But it's not. It's not. It pretends like it is, but in the end, it's not. The blueprint for creating new stars is Vince McMahon. If Vince doesn't like what he's seeing, if Vince doesn't like the blueprint that he's looking at, the blueprint is pretty much thrown into the fucking trash. It's thrown into the paper shredder. WWE touts that NXT is the blueprint for the future of WWE. This is what you do when you're in NXT and then you advance to the WrestleMania main event and win championships. No, you don't. It's who they want in those spots. How many people in NXT, how many people on the main roster have all went through the same fucking thing and have yet to get an opportunity? You look at Bianca, you look at Rhea, you look at Raquel. Yes, they're all great in their own way. Not so much Rhea. Not so much Rhea anymore. But Bianca's great. Raquel is great. But all three of them, those are three women that WWE wanted to push. If they don't want to push you, goodbye. No matter how good you are, no matter how good you look, doesn't matter. The blueprint of WWE, the future of WWE, rests in the palm of Vince McMahon. It doesn't matter what you do or what you don't do in NXT. Yes, it's a good business ideology to have. This is what NXT is all about. Yes, I get it. But in the end, I'm not stupid. I also know what I get when I watch Raw and SmackDown. Not everybody that comes through the NXT foundation. It's very tough to really buy into the bullshit that they're selling you when I know what the real story is. But this was a great moment nonetheless. All three of them standing there. Kudos to Triple H for doing that. That was a really nice moment. Not only for NXT to show you what that brand is about, but how hard those three women have worked to get to where they are. Franky Monet, listen. She comes off to me like Lacey Evans. She comes off like a new version, an NXT version of Lacey Evans. Not really digging it. Taya Valkyrie was about pro wrestling. Taya Valkyrie was about being the queen of whatever division she was in. Now she's throwing around words like bougie. Now she's carrying around a very adorable, fluffy puppy. Who doesn't like puppies? Actual dogs, clowns, not the Jerry Lawler version of puppies. I know you all like them, but this doesn't really resonate with me and not really what the NXT women's division needs. I don't want anybody bougie. We already got that enough with Aaliyah, and we got that with some clowns on the main roster. We don't need bougie, okay? We need Franky Monet to go in there and do what she did as Taya Valkyrie, and I just feel like everything that she said tonight is a direction that we're getting with her as far as her being watered down. I don't think we're going to get that Taya Valkyrie that we got in Impact. She's WWE-ized at this time. So we'll see what happens with her, but I am not sold on what she's selling right now as Franky Monet. Pete Dunne, he was talking about being the best technical wrestler in NXT, and if anyone wanted to prove him wrong, they should step up to him. And he reminded everyone he's there for championship gold. He's another guy you could throw right into the North American title picture and not even blink an eye. He's not good enough to beat Karrion Kross, but he's good enough for a North American Championship title run. We'll see what happens with him. William Regal said he had long connections in Japan, and he's been hearing about Sarai for a long time, or Sari, whatever the fuck her name is. He said she was very special, and the best women's division was only getting better with the addition of the Warrior of the Sun. Mackenzie Mitchell asked him about her, and he was very excited, but she will be debuting next week, but he's got business to take care of. Roderick Strong and Marina Shafir were in his office. Strong offered a manila envelope to Mr. William Regal, and then he says, I'm done. I'm done. It looked like Roderick Strong was holding back tears. William Regal asked, are you sure? I know you and I, with all this Undisputed Era bullshit, had a very tumultuous history, but he offered him a handshake and said, no matter what happens, you will always have a home here in NXT, and you may return anytime you want. And then the segment ended. Now, I have no idea what's going on. I don't know what's going on with Roderick Strong, but I know a lot of people, I tweeted about it on social media, a lot of people were talking about him getting a demotion to SmackDown or to Monday Night Raw. I laugh. I genuinely laugh when I hear people, oh, he's going to SmackDown. Why? Why do you want Roderick Strong on SmackDown? So he ends up like Chad Gable? Give me a break. The Undisputed Era breaking up was probably the worst thing in the world for Roderick Strong and Bobby Fish. They were a great foursome. Now with them broken up, now Adam Cole's going to go on to hopefully find success. And Kyle O'Reilly, maybe. He's got less of a chance than Cole does. But Roderick Strong and Bobby Fish, they ain't doing jack shit. So where's he going? Is his contract up? Is he leaving? Is he leaving WWE? Did Tony Khan give him more money? Or is he getting called up to the main roster? Because WWE wants call-ups. But NXT, they don't really want to send who WWE really wants. WWE may be ending or maybe getting their scraps. WWE may have ended up getting NXT scraps. Yeah, we'll give you this guy, but we don't want to give you this guy. So they're booking Adam Cole and Kyle O'Reilly into a longer storyline to prolong their inclusion in NXT. But Roderick Strong's got nothing to do. You could take him to Friday night. Give me a break. Is that what you really want? Roderick Strong on Monday or Friday night? All I see it as, all right, if Roderick Strong gets demoted to the main roster, he more than likely will sit in catering. And when Adam Cole gets brought up, at least Adam Cole has a familiar face he could sit with in catering because he's going to end up being there. Just like Keith Lee, just like Damian Priest, just like Matt Riddle, just like Ricochet. They could reminisce about their great takeover spot. Springboard backwards off the middle rope, super kick, crowd went crazy. They could talk about that while they're not getting opportunities on the main roster. Begging Triple H, oh please, Papa H, could I come back? Could I come back to Tuesday nights? Leon Ruff, Isaiah Swerve Scott, decent little match these two had here. Not really a big fan of Leon Ruff, but he's pretty fucking good at what he does, man. I will give him that. Lots of action here, and Ruff was obviously being beat down by Swerve. Swerve got the heat on the babyface, and then he started to mount a comeback on the heel. Ruff was going after Swerve with some hard chops. Ruff hit a springboard cutter, and then he flew to the outside with a springboard flip dive to the floor. Ruff then jumped off the top rope, missile drop kick for a 2 count. Super Frankensteiner by Leon Ruff, which looked great. Isaiah Swerve Scott sold the shit out of it, and Swerve is a great seller, man. He does everything that you need to do perfectly in that ring. So we got a victory roll by Ruff, another close 2 count. So we got Isaiah Scott blocking a second Super Frankensteiner, and Ruff was given snake eyes. Scott with his signature package driver, and he covered Ruff for the pinfall. Ruff, minutes later, attacked Scott in the locker room. Scott was laid out after Ruff smacked him with the storage crate, yelling that it's not over. Blah, blah, blah. It's over. Time to move on for both guys. Where they both move on to, I don't know. But hopefully this feud is over. And at the end, it was a great match. Second best match of the night, and they mesh incredibly well. Two styles that just go perfectly together, with Isaiah Scott getting the win. Moving on here, man. We got Mackenzie Mitchell talking about Zoe Stark, or talking to Zoe Stark. And she was coming off her biggest win of her career against Toni Storm at TakeOver at the pre-show. Mercedes Martinez stormed in and asked why Mackenzie was wasting time on this rookie. Zoe Stark was talking about wanting the NXT Women's Championship. And Mackenzie was in the middle of this. Mercedes was yelling at Zoe Stark, "You need to get in line. That championship match is mine next, not some rookies." And then Zoe Stark was, "Rookie? Yeah, we'll see about that." So it looks like we may be getting Mercedes Martinez and Zoe Stark. So it looks like if Mercedes Martinez is going on to already challenge Raquel Gonzalez, and now Zoe Stark wants a piece of it, looks like Mercedes might get a victory over Zoe Stark, maybe another victory after that, and then we get some momentum for her being built before she goes on to Raquel Gonzalez. I'd like to see that. It's what should be done when you have a challenger against a dominant champion. Bronson Reed, Dexter Lumis, Ember Moon, Shotzi Blackheart versus Johnny Gargano, Candice LeRae, Austin Theory, and Indy Hartwell. This was a 8-person mixed tag team match. Not really a big fan of this one. This one started with 10 minutes left in the show, and there was a commercial break in between at 9:55. I said to myself, why are we going to commercial break when the show ends at 10 o'clock? Needless to say, NXT got a 5-minute overrun. I don't know if it was just for this week because they were debuting on Tuesday night or if this is going to be an every week thing, but we got a 5-minute overrun. So, heat was on Lumis as they went to a quick commercial break. Hot tag to Bronson Reed, who I'm a big fan of. He cleaned house. LeRae tried to stop him with the flying crossbody. Good luck on that, honey. Good luck on that. She just bounced off of him like fucking Braun Strowman doing the wee through somebody around ringside. So LeRae tried to stop him with the crossbody. She just bounced off of him. And Theory then dropped Reed, but Theory gets dropped by Lumis. Everybody seems to be taking turns getting their spots in because they're pretty much strapped for time. So the women attacked the men, which was different. Moon hit Gargano with the tope. LeRae delivered a tornado DDT to Lumis on the floor. Reed with the military press on Shotzi Blackheart. And he threw her onto everybody on the outside, piling up the bodies on the outside. Lumis was trying to submit Gargano with the silence. So Indy Hartwell jumps in to make the save. And the backstory here, if you guys don't watch NXT, is that Indy Hartwell has a crush on Dexter Lumis. She thinks Dexter Lumis is hot. So she could not bring herself to attack Lumis to break up the submission on Johnny Gargano. So she fell to the mat, faking an injury. So Lumis turns around. He sees this. He lets the submission hold go that he could easily have won the match on with Johnny Gargano. This upset Hartwell, and she tossed Theory over the top rope because Gargano got up and attacked Lumis. So Hartwell took another bump on the apron, and she was acting as if she got knocked out again. Lumis was on the outside. So Lumis saw her lying on the apron, and he carried her backstage. She wanted to kiss Lumis, but she faked an injury, faked falling down. Lumis picked her up. He carried her and cradled her to the back. She was looking back at Johnny Gargano in the ring, smiled, winked, and then faked passing out while Dexter Lumis was carrying her to the back. I'll give my thoughts on this in a second. So her plan obviously worked. She got Dexter Lumis in the ring. Reed, he mowed down Austin Theory. Moon leapt off Reed's shoulders to deliver an eclipse to Theory, which looked great. Reed went for the big splash. Gargano tripped him up. Reed countered an attempted suplex by Gargano. He blocked another attempted suplex by LeRae. Candice LeRae tried to superplex this guy off the top rope. Reed was eventually able to deliver his tsunami splash and covered Austin Theory for the pin. You could not pay me all the money in the world to lay there and take Bronson Reed's splash off the top rope. My God, is it a thing of fucking beauty. I'm telling you right now, man, that I hope is the most protected finisher in all of WWE. Nobody should be able to kick out of that. Nobody. So Bronson Reed pins Austin Theory. Looks like he's still in the North American Championship picture. Dexter Lumis, I don't know where he fits in. Listen, I know a lot of you guys are saying Dexter Lumis, he's a lucky guy. He's a lucky guy. Indy Hartwell is very beautiful. She's this, she's that. I get everybody's take that it's entertainment. I really do. But the thing is, I don't think this is going to last. I don't think this is going to last. Do I like it? No. Do I get it? Yes. It's entertaining. It's entertainment. But the thing is, Dexter Lumis is a character that has been devoted for a very long time to remaining silent and not liking anybody, scaring people, using manipulation and scare tactics on his opponents. I don't necessarily want to see him tagging with anybody. I don't want to necessarily see him befriending anybody. But Jessie texted me tonight something that I really can't disagree with. And you know Jesse's on Wednesdays during the AEW reviews. He texted me something, and he said this. Back in the day, would you ever take The Undertaker's character and team them up with the Bella Twins? That's exactly what they did with Dexter Lumis here tonight. I don't necessarily look at Shotzi Blackheart and Ember Moon as the Bella Twins, but I get the point he was trying to make. Dexter Lumis and his character has been compromised. I'm not saying you can't humanize him over time, but Dexter Lumis has barely gotten anything going on NXT, and you are already humanizing him with this Indy Hartwell storyline. Yes, he's a man. Yes, he's got needs. Yes, he probably thinks she's attractive, just like you fucking geeks do. I'm not saying that a guy can't do that, but this is Dexter Lumis with a character like that being compromised. I'm not really for that, especially not right now so soon. Does it lead to Indy turning on him? Is he really going to be played by Indy? Is this something that is being set up by Johnny Gargano to make him weak so that he eventually figures it out and then takes the championship from Johnny Gargano? I don't know. I don't know where they're going. If that's the case, fine. Then you could go back to Dexter Lumis being Dexter Lumis. But initially, the way it comes off, it almost comes off as WWE doesn't give a shit about the Dexter Lumis character, and they want to go out there and quickly humanize him because either A, they got bored with the character the way it was going, and B, they don't really know where they want to go with it. So their worst case scenario is humanize him and make him a little bit more human. I don't know, man. I'm a big Dexter Lumis guy. That really turned me off. It made me feel like the appeal of Dexter Lumis is kind of going this way instead of going this way. I don't know. We'll see what happens here, man. Maybe it's all set up. Maybe it's not. Got to give it time. I do think that Dexter does get the North American Championship when all is said and done. I think that is the natural progression of this storyline with him taking that title off of Johnny Gargano. That is the NXT review, guys. That is all I got for you. Happy to be back talking NXT. We got 1,300 in the chat. I would appreciate if you guys hit the thumbs up. We got 523 likes. I'd love to get 750 before we get on out of here on Off the Script. Thank you guys very much for all of your support. And thank you to Dr. Squatch, man. Please go and check out Dr. Squatch. Makes a great gift if you got a birthday coming up, an anniversary coming up. If you just want to get your husband or your boyfriend something nice, Dr. Squatch is where it's at, man. DrSquatch.com. Use code SCRIPT at checkout and save 20% off every order on their website. It's a great way to not only buy some of the best in men's hygiene, but it's a great way to support Off the Script. And make sure you guys follow me on Twitter and Instagram at JDfromNY206. Let's hit these super chats, man. Super chats are open. Get them on in. Daniel Easterday with $2 super chats. Excited you're covering NXT again. I missed it. I'm thankful for NXT. I'm happy it's not bad like Monday Night Raw. Bro, nothing is as bad as Monday Night Raw. Nothing. And NXT, I'm glad it's back. And I can cover it on its own. Coiled Phoenix with a $20 super chat. It's good to see NXT reviews back on OTS, and I loved the promo Kross made tonight. I honestly hope he has a decent title run, and I hope he does meet Walter somewhere down the road, because to watch those two would be epic. I absolutely agree. I think that would be a fantastic match. And I enjoy NXT somewhat. I don't enjoy it as much as I used to, but I'm glad I can watch it stress-free without worrying about AEW. Thank you, Coiled Phoenix, for the $20 super chat. Reese with a $9.99 super chat. Mister, no days off. It sucks, man. It really does suck. Jacob Donnelly, $5 super chat. After watching tonight, I now get what you mean about Vic Joseph. His voice is genuinely annoying. Jacob, it sucks, man. It really does. Every big move. Vic Joseph. I didn't know wrestling commentary was supposed to sound like you busting a load on somebody's face. It's Vic Joseph for you, folks. Red Pie with a $2 super chat. Zoe Stark have the same name as Tony Stark. If you say so. Laura Conway with a $1.99 super chat. JD, you've been working super hard. Thank you. Thank you, Laura, for the $1.99. Coiled Phoenix with another $20 super chat. To solidify my VIP status that you've bestowed upon me, I've become an official Patreon. And of course, I have to do the main event package because that's how I roll. Much love as always to you and the OTS family. Coiled Phoenix just became a VIP member of the Off the Script Patreon. She now joins the elites in this fine establishment and is sitting VIP. Hologram, go get the fine lady a nice beverage, please. And Jessie, make sure the ice bins are filled up, clown. Okay? I saw that they were a little empty before. Thank you, Coiled Phoenix. I appreciate that. Jermaine Presley with a $5 super chat. WWE foreshadowing these three female champions out here tonight that they're taking the titles off of them very soon. They won't make it till SummerSlam. Bianca's losing that title fairly quickly, and Rhea Ripley, she's already earmarked for a 1-month title reign. 5 weeks. Thank you, Jermaine. Planet Dan ASMR with a $5 UK super chat. Completely agree. Cole should not go to the main roster. Nobody should. And he also loves his Twitch, and he wouldn't give that up. They ruin everything. I don't want Adam Cole on the main roster, man. Listen, Adam Cole is a quintessential fucking put him right in there. WrestleMania main event guy. I have zero faith in them booking him the right way. Mr. Cake with a $2 super chat, $2 super chat, and a $2 super chat, which equals $6 in super chat. 205 hasn't recovered since losing Ali, Cedric, and Buddy. I forgot to mention Gable and Drew. It was an amazing moment, and it was genuine Bruce. 205, listen, man, Ali had great matches with all those guys. Ali and Buddy Murphy had great matches. Cedric and Buddy had great matches. WWE's missing the ball on those guys, man. All of them buried. All of them are buried. Jessie says, I hate this guy. He's lying, folks. He loves me. Rafael DeLuna with a $1.99 super chat. What do you think of the ruthless aggression era? Don't really care, Rafael. I'm here to talk about NXT and go make myself a hot cup of tea for my voice, bro. Magician Sapphire, $10 super chat. God, I hope none of the Undisputed Era go to the main roster. Keep them as far away from droopy face Vince and Humpty Dumpty dipshit Bruce. Looks like Roderick Strong may be the newest executive chef for Titus Catering, brother. Aracia with a Canadian $5 super chat. Great work during this stretch, JD. You've been amazing. Thank you. Thank you, Aracia. Sometimes I don't feel amazing, but pretty happy with the work that we put out this week. CC Nation with a $5 super chat. Problem with keeping Adam Cole, Johnny Gargano, and Tommaso Ciampa on NXT is that it prevents new talent from fully developing and becoming top stars. That's why they got a new show coming, bro. That's why they got a new show coming. Indigo with a $10 super chat. Hey, JD, much respect. LOL, people are really wishing burials on our NXT guys. Yeah, they really are. Vic Joseph sucks. Ugh! Anyways, another awesome live stream. Looking forward to the live stream tomorrow as always. Thank you, Indigo. Love you, brother. And we got a $3.99 super chat from the one and only NYC Demon Diva Issa. My dog Roman would beat up that dog. Book it. We don't even know that fucking dog's name. That fucking coward doesn't even have a goddamn name. Listen. My money's on Roman any day of the week. Why? Because he takes after the tribal chief, and the tribal chief just doesn't lose. Jaden Vlogs, $9.99. Kross should face Killian Dane. That match would kill it. Or Kyle. But it's great to have NXT reviews back. Jaden, no and no. Kross would slaughter both of them. And I'm glad to be back, man. Thank you for the $9.99. And Furious Nation with a $5 super chat. What's up, JD? Happy to see the NXT reviews back. Though NXT on Tuesdays won't be an overnight thing. NXT is greater than Raw. I agree. I can't be the only one who thinks that NXT needs Mauro Ranallo. Vic Joseph. Ugh! And LJBK827 becomes a new member of the Off the Script venue. He sits VIP. Hologram, get him a drink. Get him a drink, brother. Get him a couple. Anyway, guys, I'm about to get out of here, man. My voice is completely shot, but I got AEW tomorrow night, man. I got AEW tomorrow night. So I'll see you guys tomorrow at JDfromNY206 on Twitter and Instagram. Hit that subscribe button down below. Turn on the bell for all notifications. Alexis Rodriguez, $2 super chat. JD, you're the head of the IWC table. That's right, motherfucker. Everybody else sits around me, and I'm at the fucking head of the table. Go check out all the other shit that you might have missed on the channel and hit that subscribe button, guys. Thank you for the super chats. Get those likes up. Hit that thumbs up. 750 likes is the goal. I'm getting in the Mustang. It's going to be 68 degrees in New York City tomorrow, I think. Either way, windows are down. You guys know what to do. Guitar emojis in the chat. That music, full blast. I'm getting out of here, and I'll see you guys tomorrow for AEW Dynamite. See you guys later.
Mm-hmm.